Hello again, this is Robert Reich's Talking Head with the news behind the news. Now, first of all, two personnel matters in the news this morning. One, the White House has leaked to the press that it is willing to negotiate with the World Bank the future of Paul Wolfowitz. Roughly translated, this means, bye-bye, Paul, you are dead meat. Why is that? Because the White House sees this controversy as jeopardizing the possibility the White House can name the next World Bank president. For years, there's been tension growing between Europe and the United States about why the United States always names the president of the World Bank. Europeans are looking at Wolfowitz and saying, this is our ace in the hole. We can show the world the White House and America doesn't know what it's doing when it comes up with names for people to head the World Bank. So the White House is saying to Paul Wolfowitz, Paul, in this game, this long-term game, you are not worth it. The other personnel matter has to do with the appointment, the White House announced the appointment of a new war czar, a war czar. This person is going to be every morning telling the president what's happening in Iraq. Now here's the interesting question. You already have a national security advisor who is supposed to be telling the president every morning what's happening in Iraq. A chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who's supposed to be telling the president every morning what's happening in Iraq, and presumably a Secretary of State and a Secretary of Defense. Why do you need, on top of all of these, a war czar? Simple. Because the president doesn't know what's happening in Iraq. He's not listening. He's not learning. So you need somebody else to tell him. But is this new person, this General Douglas Lute, going to be the right person? Well, listen to how the president has described General Lute's qualifications to be the war czar. The president said, this man knows how to get things done. Quote, he played an integral role in implementing combat operation plans in Iraq. Now, the big economic news is that Daimler Chrysler is no longer going to be Daimler Chrysler. It's just going to be Daimler. Daimler is offloading Chrysler onto another company, a private equity firm called Cerberus. But read the fine print. This is where it gets very interesting. Daimler is paying Cerberus $650 million to take Chrysler away. What's going on here? What's the real story? Well, you see, Chrysler has $18 billion of liability on its books. These are promises that Chrysler has made to pay the healthcare costs of Chrysler workers when they retire. Daimler doesn't want to be loaded down with these $18 billion of costs anymore. It's killing Daimler. So Daimler wants somebody else to take them. This private equity group has said, okay, for $650 million, Daimler, you pay us. We'll do something with these $18 billion. But you know, as well as I do, there's no way that this private equity group is going to be able to pay this $18 billion in the future of healthcare costs. No. What's really going on here? Here's the plot. Cerberus and Daimler and the UAW, United Auto Workers, have figured out that this $18 billion is going to somehow be transferred to the United States government. They will lobby and they will make sure that ultimately this is a taxpayer-financed bailout. Mark my words. And that's today's news. Take care, America.